From Jennerstown Speedway. Chase to the Checkered is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Sometimes you've got to stop and smell the pizza. And by Chevrolet and your local Chevrolet Geo dealer, the official vehicle of Jennerstown Speedway.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to this week's program. I'm Mike Nelson, as usual. This is Steve Richard joining me each and every week on Chase to the Checkered. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to see our Saturday evening, July 23rd activities from Jennerstown Speedway of the AP Parts Meet the Challenge Night, featuring our NASCAR Winston Racing Series Premier Division, the John Auto Parts Pure Later late models in twin 35-lap mains.
Two of them.
That's right, two of them. Plus Pro Stocks, Riverside Bilo Street Stocks, and the Pure Stocks in their main events as well. Well, what's up on the agenda this week, Steve Areno? Twin 35s again, a popular format. The drivers get pumped up. What is in your almighty presence of mind? What do you think?
Well, we're going to have to see we'll have to see who's up to the challenge. I know you're not.
Who shows up too?
Well, this is true too. I know Tony Raines is here. He's visited us several times so far this season. But really, before we get into any of that, you know, we've talked about drivers at the beginning of the show. Every time we mention a driver's name, we seem to jinx them. All save one driver. Sergeant Charlie Cragen, who has been the dominant driver here so far.
Right.
Now we've got twin 35s for our late model pilots tonight. Will he double dip, or will it be an unnamed driver tonight? We don't want to jinx anybody.
Well, you know, Cragen has 5 wins now, I believe it is. He's the dominant driver. Tom Erickson rumored to maybe back tonight. He had that broken shoulder. He was the only one behind Charlie Cragen with 3 wins in the multiple feature win column. So it'll be interesting to see if he shows up. I think we see Tim Ice out there as well. He hasn't been with us on a weekly basis all season long, but shows up some of the bigger races.
All right, well, you've jinxed those two. I've jinxed Tony Raines. Let's see what happens. Okay.
We'll see what happens right after these messages. Stay with us. Don't go away.
This is KAPZ News. We just arrived.
Could you tell us what happened? I noticed it's spaceship-like design.
I was strangely attracted to it.
I said, Vern, that is not a pizza.
Introducing the Pizza Hut Bowlie. Pizza toppings, cheese, and sauce in a mysteriously tasty crust. Now one Bowlie is $4.99. Bowlie, it's out of this world.
I believe it was brought here as a sign of peace.
Oh. Bowlie, reportedly seen in meaty, classic, and pepperoni mushroom varieties.
Cruise into your local Chevrolet Geo dealer now for the all-new Camaro.
Do you want a career that's in demand? Consider training as an automotive technician. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, demand is rising for skilled automotive technicians. National education centers can train you to become part of this growing field. You'll learn how to diagnose and repair today's complex mechanical and electronic automotive systems. Everything you need to get started as an automotive technician. This is a great career. Call NEC's Vail Technical Institute campus today. Call 1-800-722-7337. 1-800-722-7337. Call now.
And welcome back. Lots of racing excitement for you tonight, including twin 35-lap features. For these are Giant Auto Parts Pure Later late models, and there is that beautiful Chevrolet Z28, the official pace car here at Jennerstown, leading the field down the back straight. We must inform you a bit of a sad note before we start any of the racing highlights tonight here at Jennerstown. Mike Nelson's father, and also Craig Nelson, who's the marketing representative here at Jennerstown Speedway, he passed away during the racing action at Jennerstown Saturday night. Bob Nelson. I know that's some sorry news for a lot of race fans and race drivers around much of western Pennsylvania as this field of late models comes up to speed. I'm sure he'll be in the minds of a lot of these pilots over the next few weeks. Bob, a good friend to many of these late model drivers. And it's Rick Miller who does take the initial lead in this first of twin 35 late model features for the Giant Auto Parts Pure Later late models. And he does establish a clear-cut lead. Barry Audi in the number 75 Rose Lumber Camaro body car running in second place. He was our fast timer tonight here at Jennerstown, but he has a bit of work right now because Miller has established a good sizable lead. And look at this flock of cars stacked up behind Audi, all jostling for position back there. Ooh, Lonnie Vaughn gets the car crossed up, manages to hold on to it, but loses a couple of positions in the process. But as we take a look at that field, it's still Rick Miller with the lead. Barry Audi is beginning to make up a little bit of the difference there. We'll move ahead in the event, and it is still Barry Audi working on our leader, Rick Miller. And here comes Glenn Galt working past Robbie Marhefka for third place, but it's back to our lead battle. Audie, Miller, let's go to a live call.
Here comes Audie to the low side of Miller. The drag race out of turn 4. Audie and Miller down the front straight, inches away from the outside retaining wheel, and Audie takes over the point position.
Wow, Barry Audie picking right up where he left off after being the fast qualifier in the late models tonight. We're going to move ahead in the event, and this is the battle for second. Rick Miller has dropped back. Audie leading comfortably right now, and here comes the Orange Blossom Special. The number 32 of Glenn Galt right behind him, visiting Tony Raines, the ASA hot shoe, who has made several appearances with us here at Jennerstown, not only for some special events, but also for some regular feature events. And those two cars trying, well, not more than trying. Galt is now past Miller. Here comes Raines as well. And look, here's the 42. Charging Charlie Cragen. He's beginning to stick his nose into this battle for second place. But right now, comfortably in second, it is Glenn Galt. Cragen likewise making the pass on Miller. He's now going to set his sights on Raines and Galt as well. But right now, Glenn Galt is setting his sights on Barry Audie. Moving ahead again in the event. This is still the battle for second place. These three cars are really stuck together. Cragen has opted to work the high line, pulling in right behind Glenn Galt. Raines, he's going to run the low line. Both cars behind Galt seem to be sticking rather well in their respective grooves on the track, but Glenn Galt is not giving up anything very easily at this stage of the game. He's just continuing to out-horsepower both cars as they work their way down the front straight. Raines has managed several occasions to pull up almost beside Galt, but coming out of the turns, Glenn Galt with a decided advantage pulls away from Raines. Charging Charlie Cragen on the outside. He now has a slight advantage over Raines, but he's going to need some help from Glenn Galt if he wants to assume that number 2 position as the cars work their way down the front straight. Lap traffic comes into play, and Tony Raines is forced to drop back in third, actually bobbles the car just a little bit, so that does give the clear advantage to both Galt and Cragen. Cragen now desperately working on the low line instead of the high line, trying to hang on and make that pass past Galt. Let's go back to another live call.
Here go 1 and 2. Charging Charlie down low, the double G up high. Center to fender, wheel to wheel. Galt and Cragen once again down the back straight. Oh, they're inches away from each other in a struggle for second, and Cragen muscles his way through. Raines tries it, but Galt slams the door on him.
Cragen not only flexing his muscles, but flexing some of Galt's sheet metal as well as making that pass. We had an incident. Now remember, Barry Audie had the major comfortable lead over Cragen at this stage. Well, Mark Catone made hard contact with the outside retaining wall. He's okay, but what that does is that allows Cragen to pull up on Audie's bumper on the restart. We have just a couple of laps to go. Things are really getting hot. Let's go back for one more call.
It's 2 laps to go. In the 1 and 2, Barry Audie works the middle groove. Cragen goes high. This time, out of 2, Audie and Cragen down the back straight. Audie denies it to him, race fans. They work in the 3 and 4. Cragen right on the outside. He looks low. The white flag. 1 lap to go. Cragen and Audie battle it out. They dive into 1 and 2. Audie slams the door on Cragen. Cragen right there trying to make the move. He pulls up to the back bumper. Less than a half a lap remaining. Out of turn 4. Charlie Cragen goes high. Here we go in a battle for the lead. Audie up there, and that's Audie.
It's his first win of the season here at Jennerstown, and Barry Audie in victory lane on this AP Parts Meet the Challenge presentation of the 35-lap feature for the John Auto Parts Pure Leader Late Models. Top 5, Audie with the win. Cragen has to settle for second. Glenn Galt third. Tony Raines fourth. Rick Miller, despite dropping a few positions early in the race, he winds up with a top 5 finish as well. Well, if that late model race was any indication of what we're going to be looking at the rest of the features tonight, we have some fireworks. Speaking of fireworks, our fireworks division, the pure stocks. And here's a look at our front 3 rows. On the front row, Barry DeSalve and Aaron Will. It'll be up to those 2 drivers to bring this field up to speed. One of the hot shoes, Mark Corden, who's had a hot and cold season, stuck back in the middle of the field. For Mark, it's either been feast or famine, either win or get in an accident, it seems, so far this year. The pace car pulls off, and it's up to Will and DeSalve to bring this, my goodness, this armada of heavy metal up to speed. And right now, those 2 cars pull away from the rest of the field as everybody's kind of jammed up, literally jammed up behind them in the first set of turns. Barry DeSalve working the outside of Aaron Will as the 2 cars run door panel to door panel. DeSalve inches his way, but doesn't have that clear-cut advantage yet. And oh, here comes Mike Davis. He's pulling up in 3rd place. He wants to challenge for the lead, but right now it's Barry DeSalve on the point, and this flock of cars 3 wide. Oh my goodness, they're going to take it 3 wide into the turn as well. Will we make it through? Yes, indeed. but there's a little banging of sheet metal and door panels going on out there as well. Aaron Will running second, Mike Davis third, and out on the point, stretching out his lead. Yep, there he is, Barry DeSalle. And we move ahead in the event, just a couple of laps, battle for second place. Let's go to the call.
Here's this battle for second. DeSalle was looking at, if he had a rearview mirror, would wonder if he's out there time trialing. Everybody else falling back, and what a battle we've got. Oh, 3 wide on Davis in turn 3. The sandwich job. And the mayonnaise is being poured on. Full bore. It's a picnic. Oh, look out! On the front straight. Major disaster. Oh, we're not done yet. Oh, my. Ay, ay, ay.
But as is the case with our pure stocks, no one injured. These cars are built for punishment. It's a self-clearing wreck. They all drive back, and we restart the race, and we move ahead late in the event. Battle for first. We've got basically a 4-car involvement here. Barry DeSalle still on the point, looking for his career first win here at Jennerstown, but he's going to have his work cut out for him. There's 1, 2, just a couple of laps, or 1 lap. I don't know. Let's go to a call.
This time around, there will be only 2 circuits remaining. Barry DeSalle trying for his first win ever. It's the white flag. I stand corrected. Thank you, Steve Richards. Down the back straightaway. Time is running out. Oh, the 30 of the Cobra. Desperately trying to make the move. Barry DeSalle Jr. with the lead. Center begins to close. This time center goes to the low side, but it's Barry DeSalle with the first win at Jennerstown.
Another great race, the 15-lap main for the Pure Stocks on the AP Parts Meet the Challenge night, and it is Barry DeSalle with that first win at Jennerstown in Victory Lane. And let's take a look at our top 5. DeSalle, Sander, Corden, and Campbell in the top 4. Dave Brunel back with us this week, rounding out the top 5 in finishes. And I'm sure not just more racing to come, but more excitement as well. It's time for the 25-lap main for the Pro Stocks. And as the field comes down the back straight, let's take a look at our front 3 rows. And on the point position, 2 gentlemen who have never won here at Jennerstown. Dynamite Don Wyant from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, has won heat races and a second-place feature finish here at Jennerstown. Still looking for the first career feature win. And on his inside is Eric Corbett from Hagerstown, Maryland. And it's up to these 2 pilots to bring the field up to speed. Let's jump right into a call.
Into turns 1 and 2. Look at this battle for the lead. The rookie from Hagerstown, Eric Corbett, on the outside of Dynamite Don Wyant. Oh, my goodness, hang on to your seats. I feel a little edgy about this one. Everybody, oh, look out!
Feeling a little edgy isn't quite the word for it, Mike. Actually, I think what happened here was Gary Wiltrud just got the car crossed up, spun, hit the outside retaining wall. Everybody else does a great job of missing the accident. The number 76 of Randy Pote, you'll notice it looks like a modified. That was an accident from a heat race. That was not involved in this. Wiltrud actually the only one that made any contact, but because we didn't have 1 lap in the record books, we have to restart this double file again. And this time it's Dynamite Don Wyant on the low line who jumps out, takes the early advantage. But Eric Corbett says not so fast. He pulls right up on Wyant again, grooming that outside line, backs off, heading into turns 3 and 4, then comes right back up on Wyant again. And look at these cars stacked up behind him. It's a major league traffic jam. The number 87 of Butch Durkis also trying to get in the fray. Chuck Kessler back there. The number 47, another Hagerstown driver, much the same as Eric Corbett. That's Alki Cunningham. And we move ahead in the event. This is just a few laps later. And this is Alki Cunningham in the 47 challenging Dynamite Don Wyant on the outside. Wyant trying to hang on to second, but doesn't. Here comes the 91 of Chuck Kessler and the number 07 of Jeff Dunmeyer as well, trying to put the move on Wyant. Wyant hanging tough, though. Cunningham has second place at this point. He's going to set his sights on Corbett, our leader. And just behind him, Chuck Kessler still working on Don Wyant. Very close quarter racing as this field of cars comes down the back straight. And watch this. Oh, the number 19 and 91 of Wyant and Kessler get together. Wyant has a tire go down on him. Sparks fly. Wyant then collects the number 72 of Mike Heminger. Denny Wingard manages to get around. Wyant continues to move. Heminger spins around going the wrong way. And oh my goodness, everybody misses this accident. So what we're going to do is pick the racing action back up after a restart. This is several laps later. Our leader now, the number 47 of Alki Cunningham. Here comes Chucky Kessler battling for that lead. Jeff Dunmeyer just behind him. Cunningham, the pilot from Hagerstown, Maryland, has never won on an asphalt racetrack, and he would love dearly to do that now, but the number 91 of Chuck Kessler says, this is going to be my night. Here comes the number 07 of Jeff Dunmeyer as Kessler makes the pass, takes the lead. Watch the 7 of Dunmeyer. He pulls up on the low line, and without batting an eye, he takes the bridesmaid spot. Cunningham left back in third. This will set up a great battle. This is the last lap. Kessler in the lead. Dunmeyer running second. They've been doing this for the last several laps. Dunmeyer unable to make any sort of serious move on Kessler. He can manage to pull up behind him up to his bumper, but that is it for Chucky Kessler down the front straight, and he picks up the checkered flag. Unfortunately, after a post-race inspection, we see Chuck Kessler in victory lane. Chuck's car failed to pass a technical inspection, so that moves Dunmeyer up with the win as we take a look at the rest of our top 5 finishers. Back to victory lane. Time now for a race break.
This race break is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Sometimes you've got to stop and smell the pizza.
It looks just like your standard race tire and wheel mounted on the number 42 Goody Brother Cole, Scanlon Clinic, Casa Fire Equipment, Chargin' Charlie Cragen late model. But not all tires and not all wheels are quite the same. In their unending quest for that just little bit of competitive edge, race car drivers and crews will do just about anything. And this isn't really your standard wheel. What we're looking at is a bleeder device, which lets off excess air pressure as far as the tire is concerned when it gets out on the track and heats up. With me is Fred Biter. And Fred, first of all, the bleeder system, how important is it to the race car?
Well, to stay on your setup, stagger is real important, and air pressure is what gets your stagger. Maybe I should go ahead and explain stagger. Stagger is the circumference of the tire between the left side and the right side. And everybody runs at different sizes, whatever their own preference is. Now, on some of our cars, we want a bleeder which fastens in right there, and it stays into the wheel. As the wheel's turning, there's a question of whether or not the pop-off is working properly.
Because of the centrifugal force.
Because of the centrifugal force holding the pop-off in. Now, Randy Sweet come up with this idea where the line would bring it up to here and pop off the middle to try to work against the centrifugal force idea. Right now, we're still testing. Everybody's looking for just a little bit, but everybody's so competitive now, on the asphalt. The cars are all the same, the motors are all the same. Everybody's looking for hundredths of a second. I don't know if this is it or not, but we're going to look for everything we can find.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Obviously, whether or not it works remains a bit of a question. One thing for sure, though, is it hasn't hurt you because you're doing quite well here at Jennerstown and at Motordrome.
This race break has been brought to you by Pizza Hut. Sometimes you've got to stop and smell the pizza.
This is KAPZ News. We just arrived.
I noticed its spaceship-like design.
I was strangely attracted to it.
I said, Vern, that is not a pizza.
Introducing the Pizza Hut Bowlie. Pizza toppings, cheese, and sauce in a mysteriously tasty crust. Now one Bowlie is $4.99. Bowlie, it's out of this world.
I believe it was brought here as a sign of peace.
Oh. Bowlie, reportedly seen in meaty, classic, and pepperoni mushroom varieties.
Cruise into your local Chevrolet Geo dealer now for the all-new Camaro.
And we are back with our 4th feature of the night. I hear thunder and lightning. It's the Riverside Bilo Street Stocks in their 20-lap main of this AP Parts Meet the Challenge presentation at Jennerstown. Here's a look at our front 3 rows. Jack Satosky from Stoystown on the point. Outside of him, Nick Rose and Randy Dietrich, Marty Edwards, Sean Beam, and Brian Audie. As our pace car pulls off the track, Ron Brutt will drop the green flag, and it's up to the front row to bring this field of cars up to speed. It's a major league traffic jam right off the start. Let's go to a live call.
Here we go in a battle for the lead. Everybody jammed up in the Riverside Bilo Street Stocks, looking like a high-speed current. Oh, we're 3 wide for the lead. We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. We are not. We made it. And I just got fired. Unbelievable.
But what's the unbelievable part? That they made it 3 wide through the turn, or that you didn't or did get fired, Mike? No, you're not fired. Just hang with us. We're looking at Marty 7 in the number 50, Marty Edwards in the number 57. He's holding the point position. We move ahead in the event. Edwards has established a clear-cut lead. This is the battle for second. we're looking at Sean Beam, the number 15, number 3 of Dave Wilt, working the outside of Jack Satosky from Stoystown, and it's Beam who takes the advantage. He runs into the number 2 spot, and Dave Wilt says, I'm going to follow you right behind. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a little love tap about right there as we work our way into the number 2 and 3 spots respectively. Satosky back in 3rd place. They set their sights now on Marty Edwards running at the point position. Wilt doesn't look as though he's going to make a serious challenge on Beam at this stage. He's going to be content to run behind Beam as they work their way toward the point position. And while that's going on, look at this, a 3-car incident in turns 3 and 4. We have Brian Audie, Nick Rosa, and Carl Trevero getting the cars together. What that does, it sets up a restart, and that will allow Sean Beam and Dave Wilt to pull up on our leader, Marty Edwards, on the restart. Here comes Sean Beam. He's going to take the point position. Down the front straight, followed very closely. Another love tap by Dave Wilt from Duncansville as these 3 cars head into turns 1 and 2. Another good 3-car battle going on behind them for the 4th place position. But right now, it is the Bullet who has the point position. The number 3, Haas's Steak and Sea House ride of Dave Wilt working the low line on Marty Edwards, gets the car squirrely as they come down the front straight. We're going to move ahead in the event. Wilt has gotten past Edwards at this point. 1 lap to go. Let's go to the call.
A lap and a half remaining. Wilt, running out of time, closes up once again on the Bullet. He will try to work the low side, it appears. No, down the front straight, stays glued. 4 turns remaining. The Bullet hangs on. Wilt right there. Looks to go. Oh, look out! Look out! No, unbelievable! Woo, what's going to happen here? Woo, look at this! Look at this! We're still green! Oh, my goodness! We're side by side. They backed off. Now we've got this craziness going to the... Oh, it's the Bullet!
And Sean Beam waves as he passes the checkered flag on his way to victory lane. There he is, holding the banner on this AP Parts presentation of the 25-lap main for the Riverside Philo Street Stocks. Look at the top 5. Beam with a win, followed by Wilt, Edwards, Mark Berkey, and Rick Neelab. And it's back to victory lane with Sean the Bullet Beam. You know what? We got one more race left, and it's our Giant Auto Parts Pure Later late models in their second 35-lap main on this AP Parts Meet the Challenge presentation here at Jennerstown. And as this block of cars goes back the straight, the back straight, we should say, let's take a look at our front 3 rows. And on the front row, experience on the outside. Clayt Husted, the 62-year-old driver from Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. The sophomore pilot, Robbie Marhefka from Windsor, Pennsylvania, on the pole position. Pace car pulls off the track. It's up to Ron Brett, drops the green flag. The front 2 cars bring the field up to speed. Let's go right into a live call.
In a 1 and 2 in a drag race for the lead. Clayt Husted trying to take it over from Robbie Marhefka down the back straight, and he does. On the point, here comes Marhefka back. Oh, look at this. Inches away from each other, out of 4. Marhefka tries to stay low, but cannot do it. Here comes Tony Raines. Raines going to the outside of Robbie Marhefka in a battle for second. Clayt Husted holds on to the lead. The top 4 automobiles have yet to be in victory lane.
And we'll jump ahead in the event just a couple of laps later, and this is the battle for third. Raines is working on Marhefka. Again, we talked about Marhefka being only the sophomore pilot. Raines with lots of experience running ASA on a regular basis. And look at Marhefka. He's fun to watch. He just won't give up that position that easily. Raines does manage to make the pass. Here comes charging Charlie Cragen. And again, it is not easy to pass Robbie Marhefka. He won't give you anything. You have to earn it. Cragen does manage to get just ahead of Marhefka, but Marhefka hangs it out, working that high line, and all this experience, I think, is going to pay dividends for this young pilot from Windsor, Pennsylvania in the years to come. We now move ahead just a few more laps, and Cragen and Raines have both passed Marhefka. This is the battle for the lead. Here's the live call.
Side by side, wheel to wheel, diving into 1 and 2. Tony Raines trying to come up with the lead. Cragen stays in third. Audie has problems. Falls back, Kennedy gets by. Here comes Raines. And on the 11th circuit, Tony Raines busts through for the point position. Cragen stays behind him.
And down the front straight, Cragen will just out-muscle Husted heading into the first set of turns, setting up a classic battle. Here's the call.
Raines now out at the point. Here comes Cragen. Look at Cragen. Right under Raines' automobile. Wasting no time is charging Charlie Cragen. Tony Raines knows he's there. He fights out of the turn. Down the front straight. Raines and Cragen. The ASA still works the middle groove. Cragen has all kinds of powers through the turn. But Tony Raines comes right back up on him down the straightaways. They dive into 3 and 4. Cragen and Raines right in the middle of the turn. Raines doesn't have it, but he's got it down the straightaway. Here comes Cragen.
And while that battle is going on, heading into the turns, look what will happen right behind them. Fortunately, behind our leaders There's a spin. You've got the 19 of Rick Miller, the 03 of Lonnie Vaughn, the 24 of Chuck Kennedy. They're able to get moving. They're not hurt. So we'll restart the event. The battle shapes up again. It is still Raines and Cragen. This heated battle for the lead. Let's go back for one more live call.
Tony Raines in charge, and Charlie Cragen dives low. The drag race down the back straight. Cragen is arm wrestled with Raines. Rated 3 and 4, and Cragen looks like he's going to be able to break through for the lead. Look at Raines come back up on him. Tony Raines in charge, and Charlie Cragen fight it out. Cragen still trying to muscle Raines down the back straight, and Cragen breaks through for the lead. Raines tries to come right back up on him on the outside, but Cragen takes the lead on the 25th circuit.
Cragen could not do it in the first feature tonight with Barriotti, but he does manage to get past Tony Raines, picks up another checkered. This is coming around for the checkered flag, his 6th on the season here. Jennerstown continuing to be the dominant late model pilot at the Laurel Highlands Oval. The rest of the top 5, Cragen with the win. Raines does get 2nd, Chuck Kennedy 3rd, Glengall 4th, and Barriotti, our first feature winner, picks up a number 5, finishing this second feature. We'll be back with some more words of wisdom right after this.
Do you want a career that's in demand? Consider